Hello everybody. In this video, as always, we'll talk about the TheAnimeScripter and the release of 2.8.0. This video will target most of the changes from 2.7.0 all the way to 2.8.0. It will be relatively short. If you want to see all of the stuff that were changed, they're all available on GitHub. You can read the changelog.md file or the changelogs for each release. And you will see all the bug fixes and performance improvements and everything in between that are present all the way from 2.7.0 all the way to 2.8.0. So without further ado, remove dev frames has seen an improvement in terms of performance. There is now sampling resolution, edge detection enhancement was a bit improved, preserve layer length was also added, so that when you remove dev frames, it doesn't like auto collapse the keyframes. Instead, they will just stay where they were. And if you want to modify, drag something around or add or remove, you can do it without TS interfering with it in any shape or form. The accuracy has also been slightly adjusted. It should be a bit more accurate, but its performance mostly, about 40% higher performance than before. Yeah. Restore, no major changes in restore. Interpolation has seen two bug fixes. Dynamic flow scale and right symbol were not parsed to the backend. This was an issue that was introduced because of the whole JSON changes, JSON input changes. And in any case, this will now be brought to the backend, and you will be able to benefit from them, of course, if the model supports right ensemble. I also added sync cut aware. So basically, if there's a scene change, like here, you can enable sync cut aware, and it will not interpolate between those two frames specifically, avoiding weird artifacts of two non-continuous frames being interpolated and the AI not knowing what's going on. If you have seen the last video, 2.7.0, motion blur has had this feature called the mask layer. Basically, if you had like an area that you do not want to mess around with, you were always able to do a mask layer, select, say, this text, and then just select a mask layer. And this area specifically around the text or a HUD element or some character in the background that you don't want to touch, all of these with the pen tool or with a shape filter, you can now exclude from the interpolation altogether, and it will not be interpolated in any shape or form. I have added back NCNN. NCNN was present before and was replaced by DirectML, and it was added back now. The reason why I added it back is so that macOS users can benefit from a free tier, so to say, for TAS. This NCNN is only for interpolation. I will also add it to upscaling, but of course, restoration and other backends will not be added for now, at least, because they require a different approach for the whole processing workflow. But for now, interpolation has a NCNN backend. Upscaling soon to follow, hopefully. I also did some performance improvements for CUDA, specifically for 2x interpolation. It should be slightly faster now by like 5 to 10%, nothing major. UI-wise, General Preview Runtime has a different button layout now, so it looks more like the After Effects buttons. There's a slight mismatch here, which I'm going to fix in a future release. The default presets are no longer blue, they're just the default white color, so we follow the black and white and with blue accent color theme that we have going on, which follows the After Effects theme at the same time. I'm trying to be pretty close to the After Effects base UI element. I still deviate a lot from it, but at the end of the day, it looks pretty close to a native software within After Effects, and I'm happy about that. What's new? AI video processing. So Extract Depth Map has seen one major new feature and a couple of new models. So first and foremost, CUDA and TensorRT models, not all of them, but most of them, will now have the option to do batch size. So batch size, what is batch size? So one of the biggest bottlenecks, especially at higher FPS, is just how fast you can call the engine that does the actual AI stuff. That usually can be anywhere from 1 millisecond to 5 millisecond, which adds up over time. With batching, you avoid calling it or every frame, but instead you can batch. You can add multiple frames to the engine, and it then processes multiple frames at the same time, and you can send them to the backend, sorry, to encoding much faster. Basically, you know, if you have 10 frames and you do a 1 frame batch, for example, like this, you call the engine 10 times for 10 frames. If you do, say, 2 frames, then you'd call it 5 times because you have 2 frames for every call. 2 times 5 is 10. This improves performance. On my system, small v2 CUDA went from, I believe, 180 FPS to 250 something. CUDA TensorRT has saw a lot of performance improvements. Primarily, you will benefit the most from this if you are running at around 50 to 60 FPS or higher, because that's where the engine calling is starting to show more as a bottleneck. Otherwise, you will not benefit too much from it as it currently stands. But more often than not, you should see performance improvements, which are pretty major, specifically with smaller models or really fast models in general. This was added specifically to depth map and segmentation, but segmentation is a relatively hit or miss still. It's only Anime, CUDA, and TensorRT I want to mention. DirectML and OpenVINO saw no performance improvements on my system at the very least, so they were not added just yet. But soon hopefully they will be added too if there's any significant push for it in terms of performance. But in any case, just a summary, you will see better performance in most of the use cases as soon as you meet those criteria, like the FPS and everything in between. Normalized depth was also saw a small improvement. I'm still working on it. It's super hard to play around with that. Yeah, let's go to motion blur. Motion blur saw some performance improvements, specifically when you're with the shutter angle. The logic behind it is before it was just dropping frames. So it was doing something like 8 frames interpolation, and then it was dropping like 6 of them. Now you will basically not do those extra interpolation steps at all. The lower the shuttle angle, the higher the performance will be with this release, with this version. So 360 we'll see no performance improvements, but say 90 we'll see some performance improvements. I don't know the numbers anymore out of the top of my head. Yeah, this is everything in the extra tools. Keyframe graph editor now has a animate beat button. So basically you can see in real time how the graph should look like, or how the motion should look like. I've also added a button for copy as code, so you can have quick access if you want to play around with the keyframes directly, or you want to use this keyframe specifically in some other software. You can copy these and then paste them in the other software like Blender or I digress. Reset curve. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here. Yeah, I added platform specific presets, a couple more presets here. I've also fixed a small bug. Well, more like a UI improvement. So if it grow to up to a certain point, past which it will only grow horizontally. That's partly because it was like overshooting, oversizing past the screen was growing linearly instead of like going horizontally. It was growing diagonally instead of horizontally, and that was causing the apply button and read button to just go out of screen, and you would always have to scroll them depending on your UI scale and whatnot. So this way you can just scale it however wide you want, and you will still see the apply button and read button depending on your UI size and elements. Let's hopefully be able to move this back. So yeah, auto cut clip, nothing major here. I'm gonna skip this one. for a minute. Q, couple of bug fixes here in how it reads the backend, or sorry, the logs. Settings wise, I've added a option for show legacy models. I think I talked about that in 2.7.0. Match models to my GPU. So if you have an AMD GPU, CUDA and TensorRT models, which are specifically for NVIDIA, will no longer show up. If you have an NVIDIA GPU and absolutely no Intel iGPU, for example, then OpenVINO will no longer show up. This is on by default, so you don't have like a billion of options dropping below. Normally, otherwise, without that, macOS options would also pop up here, which is unnecessary. I didn't want to talk about that yet, but yeah, this is most of the stuff in here. I've also added a founder pass and lifetime supporter pass. So if you wish to outright buy TAS and own it forever, well, as long as GitHub lives, hopefully forever, you will be able to benefit from this and future updates, direct support. So it basically includes everything from gold, silver, bronze, basically all of gold. You own it forever, you keep it, you get my support as long as I develop TAS and hopefully for a long time. And you will be able to use TAS so long as you have an internet connection and GitHub doesn't go down. So these are the two only conditions, I guess. I also removed the little goal here for the macOS platform. We have reached the support account, but it was a bit too fast for my liking, and well, not for my liking, sorry, that was a bad phrasing. We reached it too fast, much faster than I anticipated, and I I just didn't think we would reach it in the first place, honestly, and we absolutely crushed it. I thank you very much for the support you provided, and I hope I can continue developing TS as I've been doing so far. I'm sorry, that's my chair on which my legs are resting if you hear it in the background. We are going to talk about Media Browser. So what is Media Browser? It's basically a reimagination of the project folder, but with a hint of Windows Explorer and playbacking and thumbnail generation and just media handling in a really fast way. So what this brings is you can watch in real time your clips. You can import them in real time to your timeline, so you do not have to touch the project folder any longer by any means or shape. You can pin a folder which will appear up here as a pin, and then you just say we go up a level, we go back to output, and if you have some overlays, PNGs, effects, whatever, you can directly just pin it and have quick access to it instead of going to Windows Explorer, opening it, looking for the video and everything in between. You just now have constant access to Windows Explorer in a much faster way. There's also a search bar. Ideally, I've developed it to be a bit wider, something like this. So you can do 1080, boom. These are all test videos. You can see how fast the thumbnail generates. These are all test videos. That's why I have a lot of duplicates. But yeah, you can now explore your folders, your media and whatnot, and add it directly to After Effects without ever having to touch Windows Explorer or the project. This can be completely removed. It will also show up as blue if there's some video in it. So for example, input has video in it. If I go to PyCache, there's nothing in it. You can filter by videos and images. So I believe that VT compare, yeah, these are only images, but yeah, they show up. You can import them, and this was testing for depth anything small v3, but you can import them and yeah, no longer have to touch Windows Explorer at all. You can also, it also shows like a recent folder which you can always exit out and then not bother with it. And yeah, as I mentioned, pinned. you can also go to sort by recent, name, or size, so alphabetically or by size or recent, which is by date the newest file. There's also a compact, comfortable, large, and preview sizing, so you can watch it in different sizes. It's up to you. Settings wise, I prefer comfortable. And then there's also audio support. Hopefully that gets picked up. Yeah, it does get picked up. So audio is also supported. You can mess around with the audio level here, and if you like the video that you want to play with, press import, and it's imported. It doesn't auto scale yet. I will also add the auto scaling to come with width and height. Yeah, that's media browser. The pin is here, by the way. Everything is cached for the most part, so you don't have to constantly regenerate the thumbnails. Everything should be cached with a 1.5-ish megabyte cache, which is roughly 500 images if I remember correctly, which is plenty enough for it, but it's super fast at generating anyway. So oh yeah, the caching is not working properly, but I guess we'll fix that too. In any case, it generates them so fast it doesn't matter. I think that's about it for this release. Yeah, thank you for watching. You can read the what's new, see everything that's new in this release. So much. Read it all through and through, all of the bug fixes, all of the new features, and yeah, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful end of week for me. It's Sunday, 8:20 p.m. apparently, and talk to you later. Bye bye.